What would you roll to like notice that, I wonder? Like, would it just be a perception roll?
Knowledge local or
Like maybe a knowledge local? But, yeah, he leads you to that
Do
tower.
I have this character sheet set up?
I don't know. Let me check.
It looks like it.
I'm not sure.
Maybe?
Is it leveled up? I'm gonna be
Leveled
surprised if
up to
that's...
what?
I think you guys are level 6.
6? Although, is he 6 yet?
This says 6, yeah. So it looks
I
like
think
you're
I
set.
leveled it up. I have a point in knowledge local.
Okay, so you probably realize that this is, in fact, the infamous blinking tower that is known to flicker in and out of the Kaer skyline as you get to it.
Oh, great. Well, it seems like I went in here, so it's probably a good idea for my character to go in here.
Probably. That's like the one thing I was like, crap. Now they just mentioned that. Might make it harder to convince them to go in there because yeah, if you don't, then I don't know what happens. Things get messy. Maybe they were wrong. Actually, I do know how I'd reconcile it. It would work out okay. But yeah, so
Before I go in here,
okay.
I'm going to ask this guy. This is the tower that flickers in and out of Maga, right?
He says, "Indeed, it is Delpho."
Delpho.
Yeah, or Deflo, how you misspelled it.
Deflo.
Deflo, and it's actually Delpho though.
Okay.
But yeah, he says, "Indeed, it is."
I'm not gonna end up trapped in this tower, right? I can get out. No?
Of course. I have this tower. I have control of this tower. It only flickers out when I want it to.
I'll sense this motive. I think that's my trash skill.
Yeah, you can think what you want to think. It seems like he seems very confident about what he's saying, though.
Well, if my box is in here, I suppose I will follow you.
Okay. So he goes up to the door, and he kind of pushes his hand against the door, and it opens up on its own. And he turns to you and says that you can actually also open this door in much the same way. It's keyed to you as well.
Good.
If you ever need to access this tower and I'm not for some reason not here, you should have no problem doing so. And he walks in the door.
Him in.
Okay. So there's kind of like a hallway there with kind of like a staircase spiraling around it. And
the staircase is spiraling around the hallway?
Around the... not the hallway, around the tower.
Around the tower, okay.
Yeah, it's
I was like, what, are we in some, like, Escher stuff?
No, there's like a little hallway that kind of leads to the center of the tower, and then the center of the tower has a hallway around it, basically. Does that make sense? So...
Yeah.
It leads on the hallway, gets to the center of the tower, there's a staircase that kind of spirals around it, and to different levels on the tower. And then like all the rooms are kind of attached to the center, basically. So he basically goes in there and says, won't be very high up. He goes up to the stairs and starts walking up them.
Okay.
And he only goes up like one level, basically. And one of the rooms on there, he opens that door up and walks into it.
I'll continue following.
Okay, and it looks like a kind of like maybe like a studio apartment kind of thing. It's got like a bed, a desk, uh, like an armoire, some shelves, like its own little separate bathroom area there, kind of thing.
Okay.
And yeah, he goes over, and on the desk is a box, and he kind of points at it. He says, "This was where you stayed whenever you were here. This is your room."
I'll put my glasses on. You mean I stayed in that box right there?
No, this whole room was your room. The box you just kept here.
Yes, I assumed as such. I'll walk over to the box.
Okay.
Does the box appear to be trapped?
So you do like a trap finding perception check.
Yeah.
All right. You kind of eye the box over, and you don't see any traps on it.
Okay. Well, is it like obviously locked? Is there like a little keyhole in the front of it or something?
There doesn't appear to be any sort of keyhole on it. No.
I guess I'll try to open the box.
And when you like grab the box, you kind of do feel something, like your magic sense is tingling basically. But other than that, it opens, no problem. So, and the box is like, let's see, how big would this be? It's about like a few feet. Like it's a pretty good sized box, but it's big enough that
It's a
you
big
could.
box.
It's a big box, but it's big enough. It's small enough that you could carry it around, potentially. But inside you see a spell book, and you see uh, several potions, and you see some like a little pouch.
Well, let's look at the spellbook first.
Okay. So you pull it out and open it up, kind of
Yep.
leaf through it, and
Yep.
the handwriting definitely looks like your own handwriting, but you can't really make sense of like what like it like you can tell that you wrote it, but you can't really make much sense of it.
Right.
Like there's like a mental
It's
block that you
right.
encounter upon looking at it.
If I cast Read Magic real quick, am I able
Okay.
to figure out what my own magical incantations were in the past?
You try it? Are you using
Yeah,
this?
I'm casting Read Magic.
Okay. So you cast Read Magic, and you're able to tell like what spells they're supposed to be. Um,
Yeah.
and they're mostly basic, like pretty basic spells. Um, pretty much, there are a bunch of different spells that I haven't actually made the spell book for, but it's basically a bunch of different spells from the core rulebook up till about level 5, like
Okay.
level 5 spells. And this just has like a lot of like really basic spells, particularly divination and conjuration spells.
Very different than how Amber is currently.
Yeah,
Amber's new
that isn't to
life
say,
is not the same as Amber's old life.
yeah, although that isn't to say that these were the only spells you know.
That's true. I might have another spellbook.
Yeah, this is from what Delphos told you. He's saying that this was like a emergency, like a thing that you left in case it was needed. So perhaps you could probably Amber would probably be able to conclude that this was perhaps supposed to be if previous Amber had lost her spellbook, she'd want another spellbook with stuff to help her get her other stuff back. So it has like stuff that would be useful in doing that.
Yes, like divining where it is and bringing it to myself, I see. Or bringing me
Yeah,
to
like
it.
teleport is one of the spells in this spell list, in this spellbook.
Is there anything that looks really out of the ordinary in this spellbook? Any non-standard magic, like any what's it called? You know what I'm trying to say, right, Pluto?
Like any, I don't know what
Like
you're trying to say.
self-created magic.
Oh, like any magic you haven't seen. Like, is this all just standard stuff?
Right.
Nope. It all looks like stuff. Like I said, it all looks like stuff from the core rulebook.
In other words, like common wizard college type of magic. Stuff that I would easily know with like a 1 on my knowledge arcana checks.
Yeah, basically, it's stuff that it's very well known magic. Yeah.
I have like a +8, a +17 to those right now. Okay. Well, maybe this will help me find what happened to me with trying to find my other spellbook. Let's take a look at these potions.
Okay.
I guess I'll give you some spellcrafts for handling and figuring out what these potions are. How many of them are there? 3?
There's 3.
I don't think I have my level 3 spell on my spell list. I can cast level 3 spells at level 6, right?
I think so. I don't remember though. I can. Oops.
Let me pull up my hero lab for Amber.
Let's see. Sorcerer can cast. Yeah, level 6 is when you first unlock level 3 spells.
I think I took haste, but it's not in Roll20.
So you see that they are. You managed to identify them as pretty common. There's a potion of cure serious wounds and 2 potions of lesser restoration.
That's useful. Was there anything else in this box?
There was a little pouch.
I'll check the pouch.
And inside the pouch you see a bunch of gold coins. Actually, they'd probably be platinum. But you'd estimate probably close to 100 platinum pieces, or 1,000 gold pieces, basically.
After examining my what do you call these? Effects.
Mm-hmm.
I'll turn back to Delpho and say, well, thank you for showing me this. I had forgotten all of it. You said that we had worked on projects together and that you were going to show me them.
Indeed, this tower is one of those projects.
I see.
Would you like me to show you some of what it can do?
Yes, I was going to say that I'm afraid that has also slipped my memory. This guy is probably pretty smart. He can probably figure out what's going on with Amber anyway.
Yeah. He might know some things. He'll say, let's go out to the central area again.
Okay. I'll follow. And I'll put what was in that box I'll pocket it.
Okay.
Those seem like useful things to have.
Yeah, like 100 or 1,000 gold pieces and some potions in the spellbook. Spellbook not so much maybe right now, but definitely the other ones are.
Yeah.
So, also I should note before you leave, though, you also do notice there's like a bookshelf with a bunch of books on it as well.
Well, I'm not going to, waste this guy's time.
Fair enough. He goes out and says, we're going to go to the top of the tower, but I'd rather not walk all the way up these stairs. So he casts a spell.
Probably fly.
Yep, he casts fly on both of you.
Oh, he casts fly on me too, huh?
Yep. And says, let's go to the top of the tower. And flies up through the middle of the tower, up to the top.
Guess I'll do that. If he didn't cast fly on me, I was just gonna cast haste on myself and run up the stairs.
Run up the stairs. So he gets up to the top of the stairs, where there's basically like this own separate like platform kind of near the top of the tower. And you can see there's like windows and such right there on the outside of it. And there's kind of like a I suppose you might call it like a panel basically. And there's sort of like, I want to say, I guess they're kind of like buttons. They're not like buttons you actually push, but there's kind of glowing rune markings, kind of look like runic looking markings all over this panel.
I have a feeling this is going to end up like Howl's Moving Castle.
It's a good instinct. And so he turns to you once you get up there and says, is there anywhere particular that you would like to go?
Not to the abyss.
Yes, that's probably a wise place to not go.
Is there any place you'd like to show me?
He thinks about that for a little bit. And then just says, I guess this will work. And he goes over and pushes one of the like touches one of the runes basically, pushes one of the buttons. That's not really a button, but and you can see when he does this, you can kind of see the effect on the outside the window. Like before, you could see kind of Kaer Maga, but the like it all kind of goes like black out the windows. You can't see anything out there for a second, and you kind of feel kind of like sort of like when a long elevator gets into free fall. You kind of like you don't have, it's not like completely no gravity, but it kind of sort of for a split second kind of feels that way, like a little bit like that uneasy feeling, but it stops, and you can kind of see what looks like a sort of looks like starry night outside the windows.
Is this the astral plane?
Is that something you say out loud?
No, it's something I'm thinking.
Okay. And you do think it probably is the astral plane, and that those stars are actually not stars, and they're actually just bleed-ins from the material plane that that look like stars, and that legend has that the stars are inspired by this phenomenon. But yes, you do think that this looks like the astral plane.
Interesting.
And so he kind of turns to you and says, "If you look out the window, you can see it, can't you?"
Indeed. It seems that fate has brought me back here.
Yes, I always felt that it would. You were trying to look up some sort of information in the thoracic spire, yes?
Indeed.
Well, were you having any luck finding whatever it was you were looking for?
I don't know, Pluto. Was I having any luck finding whatever it was I was looking for?
You were finding some stuff. I think the last time we rolled knowledge check, I think you were looking just specifically for like methods on how to kill gods, right, or something like that. Like you were trying to figure out.
Yeah.
I don't know if
That's
you
what
were
I was
doing anything
looking at,
specific.
I thought, but
What was Amber looking up the same thing then, or was she looking up something different then?
No,
I don't
I
remember.
was
It's been a
looking
long
up how
time.
to kill gods. I was also looking up specifically his artifact.
Right, you were also looking information about
that's what I was thinking. Okay.
about Kirkonis's artifact.
Yeah, I think I was specifically... The last roll I made was on his how to kill gods, but I wanted to return to his artifact.
Right.
But this tower almost seems artifact-like itself.
Somewhat, yes. It definitely does. It's basically the whole building just plane shifted.
In a not to the same extent that Carconis can travel, but this is definitely, along those same lines of magic.
But yeah, you weren't finding much about Kirkonis's artifact yet. And then in terms of like killing gods, like I said, like I did mention the one book you had there that he picked up,
Yeah,
that
that
Delpho
sword.
looked at. That one was talking about, like, had something about like a legend of the Kaer, which are basically the fetchlings. But it was a legend about the Kaer that they talked about a legendary sword that could kill gods. But you weren't really able to determine if that was even a real thing or not. Like it was just,
Yeah, it might just
yeah,
be a legend.
it might just be a legend. But yeah, you hadn't really found a whole lot about it other than just like general stuff. People being like, "Oh, you have to be like a god yourself to kill another god." So yeah, I guess to answer your question, you were getting a little where, but you hadn't answered any of your questions. But you also hadn't exhausted all your options in the thoracic spire, so it's possible you could have found more.
I was on my way to finding what I was looking for.
Hmm.
However, this tower of ours?
Yes. It's primarily my tower, but as I said, you did help me create it into what it is today.
Is probably going to be a useful tool to stopping those who are probably trying to kill me. This me, not the old me, if that makes any difference.
Well, not only that, but this, where we are right now in the astral plane, is close to another library.
Indeed.
We are right at the edge of the boneyard in the astral plane.
Do I know what that is?
You probably would, because it's like kind of common knowledge. The boneyard's where souls end up going, and Pharasma passes judgment on them, basically. And you can
And
kind
I
of
would
actually
know
notice
that I won't be passed judgment on if I just wander over there as a living soul attached to a body as opposed to a soul that's not attached to a body, right?
no, and no, you wouldn't. You can kind of actually see it through one of the windows. There's basically like, um, kind of like a stream of like kind of goes like you can kind of see, you can kind of tell when you if you look at it, uh, if you kind of examine it, you can kind of start seeing like the like it's kind of like think like the Milky Way kind of thing. But you can tell this is actually there's actually visible movement on it, and it's moving down and down the horizon basically. Not really. I don't know if that makes sense because it's not really like you're not on a planet per se, but you can kind of see the spot.
It's
And you
moving
can
through
see
the space-time.
yeah, and you can kind of see it actually coming down and like towards a spot in the distance. Like it's getting like it's going towards
And the
this,
boneyard, is the boneyard what has the library in it?
no, the boneyard is not in the like the library is not in the boneyard itself, but it is near the boneyard.
Okay.
Within Pharasma's realm.
The god that knows, like, lots of stuff and sees the death of everything, right?
Yep.
Sorry, it's been a while since I've dealt with Galarian god.
Yeah. You've seen a little bit even on just your most recent research about Pharasma.
Oh yeah, that I figured out that Pharasma used to have a big beef with Lamashtu because of Deklausar, but sometime in the distant past, she was like, this problem will be solved soon.
Yeah, like she stopped caring basically. She
And
figured out she's
Amber's assumption and Mantis's assumption is that this soon is, thousands of years later, and we are the solution to it.
maybe.
Being as fucking prideful as Amber is.
Yeah.
Perhaps the library here will have some of the answers I seek. Is there anything else I should know about myself and my contributions to this tower? And do you have any questions for me that you wish to have answered?
I don't think there's any questions you could answer for me right now in your current state.
Ouch. Burn.
He's referring, of course, to your amnesia.
I know. But that's fine.
So,
I might
as I
not
said,
answer all of the questions that he did ask and feign amnesia.
yeah,
He might have had insights into other research that I was doing that I do have knowledge about.
right. He just says, just know that not only do I owe you a great deal for the work you did here, but for other personal matters as well. You've saved my life on more than one occasion.
Well, I suppose that's a good thing. You seem to be fairly forthright and a good companion and what's it called? I'm searching for a word here. The player mantis is searching for a word here. Colleague. There we go. Research colleague is what I was looking for. Okay.
Alright, he nods then. Says, well, if you would like to go to this library, then let's be on our way. It's not very far.
And yeah, I'll do that. I'll go to that library.
So you guys still have fly on you, so he just flies up to the top, like a little bit further up, and goes through basically a door that's on the ceiling. And that leads out to the top of the tower, like the actual roof of it.
Is there anything that, like, is the astral plane something where, like, I'll die from suffocation, or one of those dangerous planes, like the fire plane, or the negative energy plane, or the positive energy plane for undead things?
I was just about to check that. It doesn't matter in this case, but I'm gonna check.
I don't know that much about the planes of Galarian, but I've read enough spell descriptions to know that that sort of stuff can happen.
So yeah, when you're outside though, you can definitely see like the spire that this like this basically a spire off in one direction there that the this stream of souls is going towards.
Is it a spire or is it like a floating obelisk? Like, is there ground here?
Yeah, it's more like a floating obelisk actually, but it's kind of like you can't tell which side is actually the top, really, apart from the fact that one side has the souls going towards it, and you kind of have to assume that that's maybe the top, although it could be the bottom, I guess. But it's up oriented from where you're on in the tower, at least.
Okay.
And yeah, it kind of just juts in both directions.
So there's some, like, plane that things seem to be aligned toward. And I mean this in the geometric sense, not the, yeah, Pathfinder, different places, planes sense.
Yeah, the stream also is coming from basically the source of light, which is, it looks like a sun.
Mm-hmm. That must be, from what you said earlier, like a bigger rip in this astral plane's fabric from the material plane?
Something like that. It's actually it's actually basically like the plane of fire, if that makes sense. It's kind of strange, but that actually is the plane of fire.
Yeah, let's stay away from there.
Like the main
I don't
part
want to
of it
deal with that
is,
place
and
anymore.
on the other side of the plane of fire is basically like the rest of the inner sphere. It's basically it's very convoluted, but
Sounds like Dante's Divine Comedy convoluted.
yeah.
Have to go through hell to get to heaven.
Anyway, I don't see anything in there, but he casts life bubble before he goes out there anyway for you both.
Well, he probably doesn't need a second cast for me. It can probably just be split.
Right. It lasts a long time. And yeah, he starts flying over towards it. He says it's this way, kind of twice towards the obelisk. You can see the towards the boneyard.
And I'll fly towards the obelisk, towards the boneyard.
All right. So yeah, as you get closer, you can kind of see that there are like you can kind of start to make it out. It kind of has, I don't know, like how do you describe what this looks like? I don't know. There's lots
Do
of
you have a
lots of.
picture?
Let me see if I can find a good picture for this, because that would be easier. I guess there is kind of a ground actually. I look at it more. It's just kind of like featureless. Like it's kind of just, it looks kind of like sort of like sand, like gray sand everywhere basically, and like jutting with like jutting rocks, maybe like glassy rocks or something. But yeah, it kind of has like this like black and purple aesthetic to it, I guess. I don't know. Can't find a really good picture that I like for it, but that's okay. But yeah, you notice that there's like eventually you kind of start seeing a little bit of like buildings and whatnot. You're not really sure what they're for exactly, but you do see some various like stuff there. You notice as well that is some I can't really know, so I should call them wildlife, but you do see some creatures, I guess. If you do like a
Yeah.
knowledge planes, you actually might be able to know what they are.
Sure, I closed that window, but I can just up arrow this.
Okay, you know that most of these are what are called aeons, and I think the other ones are what's it, psychopomps? Is that what it is?
Psychopomps?
Psychopomps. That's what it is. Some of them are like psychopomps. See little like they actually kind of look like crows with little masks on them.
Oh, we ran into one of these things in someplace else.
Yeah, we did. I can't remember what it was anymore, but I remember I recognized it right out of character. Recognized what it was right away, just because I've been reading about it for this stuff. But yeah, and this is especially you start seeing them more as you get closer to the boneyard and closer to the like the stream of souls is kind of like up above you guys. You guys are kind of flying lower to the apparent ground. But yeah, it brings you down to to finally gets to a spot, and you're still like a good distance away, but he kind of flies down towards where there's like another building down there. And he says, "This is the place." And yeah, there's like a kind of a murder of crows, I guess, kind of sitting there by it, and they're watching you as you approach.
I'm sure they are. Do I have to do anything special to go into this library?
You're actually not sure because I know it's a very high roll, but you don't believe so.
I guess I'll try to enter the library.
Okay. As you guys are going towards it, Delpho actually pulls out a holy symbol of Pharasma and kind of holds it up, and that's all he does. He just does that as he's walking forward and walks in and opens the door. And inside, you see there's a bunch of books everywhere, lots of bookshelves. And torches of continual with the green, actually they're purple in this case. The purple continual light spells basically is what's illuminating the inside of this. But yeah, it's like a pristine library. There's like no dust or anything, but there's also, eerily enough, like nobody actually in there right now.
Except for the two of us.
Yep.
And there's probably this murder of crows looking at us from behind us.
Yep. And Delpho confidently walks in.
What language do the books seem to be in? Are their titles readable to me?
That is a good question. I think they're in all sorts of different languages. You see, you see a lot of them just in Talden, but you also see some that are in, you also see some that are in, I think you knew Thessalonian, and I think you picked up Aslanti as well, right? You see some of those as well.
Yeah, I just learned Aslanti. I will paste my language list into chat. So maybe I see all of the things in the languages that I understand, and also some things in languages I don't understand. That's probably how this place is.
Yeah, there's a lot of stuff. You see, probably, let's see, you probably see a lot of stuff in Talden, which is common, and quite a bit less, but still you do see some stuff. Like you see some stuff in Sylvan, Aslanti, Thessalonian, Abyssal, Celestial, Draconic, Elven, even fewer things, but you still see some in Dwarven and Gnome. You probably don't see anything in Goblin.
No.
I'd be surprised. If you searched really hard, you might find something in Goblin, maybe, but...
I would probably have to use a divination spell to locate something in Goblin.
Yeah, and it probably would be like using like another language's alphabet or something, and it'd be like... You would need like...
Linguistics check.
Like a linguistics check even determine that it actually was indeed trying to be Goblin, I guess. Like, right. Oh yeah, these are... It's doing phonetic representations of Goblin using a different language.
Oh, that would be an excellent way to write a secret code in Galarian.
Yeah.
You just learn Goblin and write it down, and people are like, what the heck is this? None of
Anyway,
the
he
goblins
says,
are going to read it.
Delpho says that he's like, I've been here many times before. This library is one of the most comprehensive in all the planes.
Do I look that stupid?
He's just telling you some backstory, I guess. But yeah, he says now this isn't the only place to access it, uh, but it is the closest way to access it through my tower. At least that I've found. I have actually ran into it one other time.
I've been having trouble with the Thoracic Spire and its sorting system. Does this library have a better sorting system than that place?
Hmm. I'm sure it does, but at least for some people, but it hasn't been particularly good for me.
Well, I thought I would ask. I'll pull out my spellbook and say, maybe some of these would be of help to me. Unfortunately, I am unable to memorize them right now. Or, locating the things that I want to find.
And what are you trying to find?
That was mostly aimed at the DM, not at Delpho.
Oh, okay.
Well, whatever. What's the worst that can happen? I'll trust this guy. He hasn't killed me yet. Are you familiar with the ancient deity Carcanus?
He thinks for a little and says, I believe so. He was the one that was killed by Lamashtu. The old,
Indeed.
he used to hold her domain over beasts.
And he taught Desna her travel domain.
Indeed.
It seems that I have been caught up in an effort, perhaps enlisted by fate through Pharasma's will, to help defeat his resurrected form, Deklau Sar.
Interesting.
I ran into an artifact of Carcanus's, and when trying to interact with it, it took me before the lesser demon lord himself.
So what is it exactly that you're looking for in the library? Information about Deklausar?
Not particularly. First, I want to know exactly what that artifact is. And second, what are the means to slay the divine? Because although
Sure.
Deklausar may be a lesser demon lord, he still is divinity. And I am not.
Yeah. Well, I'm sure we can find the answers to at least one of those questions here. And possibly both.
Do you have
And then
any
he goes over.
suggestions on where to begin?
He kind of goes over and points you out to the library catalog.
I guess I'll start there.
And he asks where, like whereabouts, like in what region did you find this temple?
Close to Maga.
He nods. And
And I didn't say temple.
oh, I assumed it was a temple if it was where you found this artifact.
Perhaps at one point, but no more.
Anyway, he searches through it and kind of like picks out a couple spots for books, and then he starts going over and collecting some books. And then I guess if you want to do like a relevant knowledge or search or anything again, do the library roll again.
Okay. So I guess this is religion and perhaps arcana.
Either one would work, yeah.
Arcana is too higher. Let's do that.
Okay. And sure enough, you do find some old Varisian texts about Kirkonis that seem to be on the right track, because they talk about Kirkonis's religious order predating the Thessalonian Empire.
And these are written in Varisian? Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Cool.
Yeah, the Varisians were there before the Thessalonian Empire was founded. They're like the natives
And
there.
they're still here. Ah ha 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 ha.
And they are. Same thing with the Shawanti, they're also there as well. And you suspect that even though there aren't as many Shawanti texts there, the ones that are there might be something relevant in one of those as well, perhaps.
Well,
but
I don't speak that language.
You don't actually know Shawanti. And yeah, you actually do find something talking about a temple that was located within Varisia. It was described as being basically to the southwest of the Storval Plateau, basically, and being basically, basically being like one of the head temples of Kirkonis's order. And you do find mention of them supposedly having a artifact that was used to commune, that the high priest of Kirkonis could use to commune with the like directly with Kirkonis. And you also find some information about like Kirkonis's high priest was a very short, like a really short-term position, and that it would change a lot because they valued like in order to be a high priest, you had to travel basically all over the world, and so they felt it was at odds for someone to be staying there for a very long time. It was kind of those things where you'd go on a really long pilgrimage, basically all over the world, for like 20 years or something, and then you go get to be the high priest at the temple for a very short time, like only a couple of years, before someone else who made a similar pilgrimage would take over. You also find out that it has some other use of being able to be used to talk. The priests were able to use it to talk to each other, like very high level priests within the order were able to talk to each other all across the planes and across the world. But that's pretty much what you find is them talking about it being used and it being described as basically a the temple having like the artifact being housed by a magnificent statue of Kirkanis.
That is conducive to my own findings. Just, yeah, Kirkanis not so pleasant anymore, at least his body.
Mm-hmm. And you
And
do find
whatever shreds of soul, the undeadedness, is with his demon lord self, Deklausar.
yeah. You do find that the way it works is it doesn't actually transfer one's physical self to a location, but rather works more like a astral projection.
Okay, is that like a hologram or something?
Sort of, yeah. It basically sends, like, you could still, depending on, like, it's still a potentially dangerous thing because you can still be have your like transmitted self be injured or damaged in some way doing the process.
Yeah.
But yeah, like I said, it leaves your physical body behind when you do it, which also leaves your physical body vulnerable as well potentially, like during that time.
Right. Okay. I'm guessing it's sort of like a magic jar, but without inhabiting something else. You have a projection of something in some other place.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Well, this is good to know. I wonder what Delpho?
Delpho, yeah.
I wonder what his actual research is.
Like what he's actually working on right now.
Yeah. I'm not gonna ask him, but I didn't
It's a
actually
pretty.
expect him to be this helpful.
Yeah, he thought he was gonna be like a jerk or something.
No, I thought he was. I don't know. I thought he was gonna be like, look at what I can do, and look at what we can do, and like, I don't know, show me something, and then be like, now you're here, and I've got you trapped.
No. The idea was, and I was actually somewhat worried about what if you didn't go along with it. Is he's been wanting you just to come along with him willingly the whole time because he actually legitimately just wanted to help you. So like, man, what happens if Amber's just like, fuck this, I don't want to go? Like, well, shit, I already told them that you went. But I was gonna be like, well, I guess the thing is that she said, like, the person that had Scry said, oh, he's on the tower. But the thing is there's nothing actually in the I don't know, the way scrying works. You could actually work it out as she just basically misinterpreted it, and it would have probably been easy enough to make that work, basically. But yeah, fortunately, I don't have to worry about it. But yeah, you maybe find more stuff. There's actually a spell called Astral Projection that it's a level 9 spell, and so it kind of works similar to that. Only
maybe I'll go look that up right now.
Yeah, only it can actually. It's a little bit better in some ways, I guess, because it's pulling out your. It's basically like pulling out your astral self, kind of, except not necessarily directly into the astral plane. Instead, it just pulls it to wherever Kirkonis is.
Oh, it's necromancy. I guess it is a lot like Magic Jar.
Mm-hmm.
So wait, is it over? I was mostly listening.
No, he's still in the library there.
Oh, okay.
He probably also looks up stuff. I don't know. Maybe you still want to look out more about how this works if that hasn't answered. Like if there's other questions you have about it.
So would our characters know all this stuff that's happening, or are we assuming like Amber will tell us that after it all, or?
Yeah, you won't
That's
know
up
it
to
unless Amber
Amber.
tells you about it. So yeah, it's kind of up to Amber. This stuff might be stuff you never hear about. Who knows?
Okay, okay.
Amber's going to school.
I know.
Actually, I'll try to see if there's any hidden functionalities to this artifact. If I can't find anything, I will then focus on the second question about slaying gods.
Well, you do, like I said, there was a secondary functionality that was mentioned about also being able to, for the people within the order, like your Reconnaissance order, of being able to contact each other.
Right.
And basically, how that works, from what you
I'll
gather
look up how
from
that
like,
works.
yeah, from what you gather doing that. So, I don't know how long are you planning to stay here and research all these different things? Do you kind of just get lost in the research and do it for, I don't know, a few
I get
days?
lost in the research. I do it until my questions are answered.
Okay. That works out perfectly because in game, yeah, Amber was missing for multiple days. So
Unless it's like
answer
draining on Amber's physical body, she gets lost in the research.
no, in fact, I think Delpho has like ways to just create food or like a item or something, like UMD's a wand of create food or something.
Right.
But yeah, so you guys are able to stay there for quite a while, and he's also like helping you research right now. Like he's looking, some of the books are like ones that he went and found. Anyway, yeah, you do find out that you can use it. Other people that have communed with that if you are at that shrine, you can use it to communicate with other people that have also communed with the shrine, provided like that you like have some way to like focus on them. Basically, you can kind of direct like how you use it, basically.
So you can direct it away from Carconis and to the other person who has communed with the shrine.
Correct. You maybe posit that since you know Philippe has also used it, that if you were at the shrine, you perhaps could transmit yourself, a spiritual version of yourself or something, and converse with Philippe no matter where he was at.
What?
That's exactly what I was thinking.
Mm-hmm.
I'm gonna get freaked out because I will have no idea. I'm just saying.
But you can only do it. You have to you have to actually be at this
I have
artifact
to
in order to
be
do
at
it.
the.
Yeah.
Oh, so
So
one of the people who use it has to be there.
somebody has to be at it. Yeah. This was, like I said, this
But
was
then they can
used
talk
so
to
that
anyone who used it.
yeah, because it was a very like the head priest of Kirkonis, because it was like he's a god of travel, right? So it's very important that the higher up in the like they never lose that, like they had to make sure the priesthood never lost their connection to that.
So
it was
they
one of those
never
things
had to
where,
travel.
so well no, it was so that they always traveled. It was so they
I
always
see.
traveled.
Yeah.
And so that they would change who was like the actual whoever was residing at the head of the temple was always like he was someone that had to be there only for a short time, like a couple years at most. But it was at the same time there were multiple people, like the other people were still like higher up in there, and if there was an important decision, they would use that to like communicate things to the priesthood. Um, but yeah, so you do speculate you could potentially use it that way. Other than that, though, you don't see any other like extra things you can use. It seems like that seems to be its only real purpose is the ability to this long range communications thing. Although you suppose you maybe could think of other, maybe you could think of creative uses of this sort of ability. Say
Well,
perhaps if you made someone commune with it, you could maybe spy on someone.
yeah, perhaps. I was actually thinking the other way around. Now that I'm
Oh, that
communed
someone
with
else,
it,
someone could spy
people,
on you.
yeah, priests of Deklal Sar could potentially spy on me.
But only if they had access to the temple.
Right. Perhaps that cleric of Desna is spying on me.
Yeah.
Or the druid that found us there.
Do you think look anything else up? You look up that other stuff here as well. For example, the
Yeah, the how to kill gods,
how to kill
deity
gods.
killing.
Just checking in. We're kind of only doing Amber stuff today, right?
Probably. I might do some like maybe at the end have it like you guys meet up with Amber at the end potentially.
Yeah,
That's
but
kind of where we left off last session. But if you wanna like leave or something, yeah, that's fine.
no, it just seems like it'd be better for everybody to be present for that. It's awkward missing half the party, I guess.
I know. I probably would have, if everyone had been here, I probably would have done a like much shorter summation of this sort of thing and be like, this is what happens.
Oh.
Um, So on the other thing there, I mean, most of what you find about like gods have been killed. Like for example, Carconis was because he was killed by another god.
Yeah.
And you see that in general, you need another god to kill a god. Like one god must be there to kill another god. Um,
What about the legendary sword of the
that the Kael people, that they were talking about, you don't really find much in there other than it perhaps being a legend. Um, you do see like it's not just There is like some speculation about artifacts, like an artifact weapon being capable of allowing a mortal to kill a god, though. Like you see, you do see like enough mentions of it, like in other things. Like you see, there's actually like there's a book that Delpho finds, and it's in Shawanti, so we kind of translate the gist of it. And he says like there's a Shawanti legend like that as well about that they made an ancient weapon that was able to kill gods, and they used it in order to kill off an ancient giant god that was threatening to take over the world or something, and killed everybody. But uh, there's not really much like in terms of if such a thing still exists or if it ever even did exist. It's just as likely that if even when they mention this ancient Shawanti hero killing some minor giant god that was stomping around the Stormwell Plateau. It's just as likely as him having some sort of artifact weapon. It's probably more likely, though, that he himself was a demigod or of some sort.
Well, if it doesn't exist, there must be some way to make such a thing. If it can be imagined,
If it can be
then there
imagined, it
must
could
be
be.
a possible way.
Yes, you said something like this to me before. And we did indeed create the tower there. Although a lot of its magical properties were already there, admittedly. Most of what we did was just harnessing them. We actually never did truly figure out what the origin of that tower was. But the point is that yes, that is perhaps correct.
Perhaps a similar thing needs to happen with this god-slaying weapon. It just needs some tender loving care and to be located.
All right. So are you just going to continue research along those lines then? Try to see if you can find information about making it or finding a weapon that could kill God?
Sure. How much time has passed? Days,
Um,
hours, weeks?
it's probably maybe been like during while you were searching for all this stuff, it's probably been maybe a day. It's really hard for you to judge time while you're on the astral plane, though.
Right. Uh, let's just say for ease on your sake, I continue researching my questions until it's time for me to meet up with the party.
Okay. So yeah, I'll say you guys like do a search and you're still not really able to find a whole lot else. Um, the closest thing you could see to like a foolproof method for killing a god, and even then it's not really all that useful, is you could go to Absalom, take the like starstone test, and become a god that way, and then maybe you could go kill Deklosar. But even then, it'd be very difficult because gods normally have a very hard time even killing each other.
Perhaps
know that Kirkanis
this
himself-
artifact sword is somewhere inside this test.
Maybe. You also find, like, you hear about, like, the only reason why Lamashtu was able to kill Kirkanis was that she lured Kirkanis into her own realm. And she did that by tricking Kirkanis into thinking that that she had tricked one of his friends into coming in there, so he was going there to try to rescue someone who wasn't even there.
Well, I have a feeling if that trick will not work on a chaotic evil deity.
Probably not. The
They'll
Klausar
probably just
doesn't
be like,
really
yeah,
have
fuck
any
them.
friends. I don't even think he would be willing to risk much for Lamashtu.
Right.
But yeah, eventually, like, maybe you and Delpha both kind of come to the conclusion that you're not really going to find anything else along those lines. At least not within this library.
Now tell me, Delpha, can the tower be called if it's not in the plane? If you or I are not on the plane that it is?
Indeed, it can.
Is it similar to how you opened that door before?
Yes, there's a spot that you can go to as long as it's near the base of where the tower sits on that plane. If you stand there and call for it, it can come, unless something is preventing it.
Thank you very much for helping me in my research and showing me that this tower and bits of my past life. As you probably already know, I have forgotten much of who I am. Or was.
He nods, and it says, as I said before, I kind of suspected as much.
Although I may not be much help to you in my current state, hopefully I'll be able to get to a point where I can help you with your own research. Whatever that may be. Again, like I did in the past.
He nods, and he tells you, he says, another one of our colleagues may know more.
Who is that and where are they?
I don't know where she is, but if you ever run into Kracia.
Can you put this in chat?
Yep. I believe she knows more about what happened, why you don't have your memory. Just the way that I heard her tell it made it seem like she knew a lot more than she was willing to tell me.
Should I be more cautious of this Kracia than I was of you?
Perhaps, but I do think she means well. My suspicion is that she was there when you lost your memories.
Amber frowned. Krata or Kracia? Is the T in the right place?
Yeah, it's Kracia.
Is it before or after the I?
It is actually after it, so I don't know, maybe I'm pronouncing it wrong. But I guess it could be Krata.
Okay.
I don't know where she is right now, but she also helped me work on this tower.
Give me a second, I'm just writing some notes.
Yep. Anyway, what I'm currently working on is expanding the reach of this tower so it can go to other places.
Sense motive, does he mean like other planes or like other places on Galarian? What does he mean by
Both.
places?
Both. But mostly other planes, you think. You think probably mostly other planes, but maybe he also means other places on Galarian, for example. Anyway, he asks if you had anything else you wanted to look up while we were at this library. So he also says it has been a rather long time, though. We have been here for quite some time now. Perhaps it would be best
I
if we
think
return
I should
soon.
probably get back. My friends might be worried.
Yes. We probably should then. I don't believe we left any word with them about where we were going.
No. Perhaps they think I'm lost somewhere in the spy. On a higher level, perhaps, where they can't get to.
Yeah, maybe they're worried that you stole a book from the or tried to teleport within the Thoracic Spire. If you haven't, well, I suppose if you had tried teleporting within the Thoracic Spire, you'd know it. But for future reference, don't do that. Anyway, he casts Life Bubble, and again, kind of you start and probably fly as well, communal fly, and start the journey back towards where the tower was.
Yep.
And get back to the tower and whatnot. And he goes in when you guys back in Maga. He touches one of the glyphs, and you get the same sort of sensation as you experienced before. And yeah, you're back in Kaer Maga. You can't. It's kind of hard to tell right away that it's Kaer Maga because it's dark out when you return.
The glyphs, are they any sort of recognizable anything? Like, to Amber, is there any sense she can make out of them? With read magic or otherwise?
They look like they're just draconic glyphs for the specific words. So like one of them says Pharasma's Boneyard, for example.
Okay.
And the one you just touched says Kaer Maga material.
Simple enough.
And you see there's about a dozen of them. If you gave me like a second, I probably could give you a list of them. Although I don't think I actually have it all. Okay. So he says, it looks like it's early morning right now. Although, I know we've been out at the, we've been gone quite some time and you're probably very tired. If you'd like, you may stay in your own room here. But if not, I understand.
Now that I think about it, if it's been quite some time, I should probably try to contact my friends as soon as possible. And she'll take her leave for now and thank Delpho again. Delpho.
Okay. So yeah, it's like really early morning, so probably as you're leaving, you can kind of see the sun starting to come up. And then
I'll make my
Secret
way to the Canary house.
Are you guys up right now? Are you guys here still?
Up, I'm here.
Sort of.
Yeah, you know your characters. This is around when you guys are awake, and you maybe. This is about when you guys are noticing, like when Tiki's like, man,
Tower's back.
Yeah, I'm worried about. We still haven't found Amber yet, and then like Philippe notices, well, the tower's back.
Right.
So Amber's like going to the Canary house right now, but. So
Okay.
do you guys just go to the tower then? It's not very far away. You guys are down the academy.
Was that the plan?
I don't know. I don't think you had a plan yet.
The plan was to wait for something.
It was to wait till next session, but that was last session.
True.
Let's wait till next session.
No, okay, so because we did the research stuff and we found some notes and we talked to the guy, guy in charge or whatever, and told him what we found, and we think they're the Shwanji being kept in the tunnels. But I thought there was, and then we were
Well, you
just
guys were
going to
go talk to the Dusk Wardens.
Okay, so we're going to go talk to the Dusk Wardens, and then for some reason I noticed that the tower was back.
Yeah, because Tiki specifically mentioned that she was like, well, we still haven't found Amber yet, and I'm worried about that. And
Okay,
at that point, then Philippe rolled like really high in her perception, so I was like, okay, well, you notice the tower's there.
Okay, and that's where we ended, yeah.
Mm-hmm. So and this is in the morning, so I'd say
Did we have
at
a
this point,
specific
Amber
time meeting with the
Amber
Wardens?
probably already makes it to the Canary house. No, you guys hadn't even set up anything with the Wardens yet. You talked to the what's his name, Black Marin. You talked to Marin about it. And he said that he that he has contacts within the Dusk Wardens. So, but he hadn't actually got to that yet because you just talked to him about it last night.
Yeah, I felt like we were gonna wait for him to try and set something up and have them meet us at the academy because
That
we
could
were
have been it
afraid of
too.
going into
But yeah,
this because
that's
it's
right, because
so
their
close
headquarters
to
is in
Akai's
this.
foundry.
Yep. But yeah, you guys
So we were doing
had got
something
that,
else.
like, you had that rolling already. So yeah, Amber, you get to the Canary house and yeah, they're not there. Like, your rooms are still there for you, and like your key still works, and you can still get to your room.
Mm.
You probably see
And
like
it
a
does
thing or
look like,
two that looks like Tiki's, perhaps still there.
yeah, like Tiki still has some like, you know, personal effects there, but she doesn't. There's no one that's actually there right now.
It's because they all died, and now Amber has to go discover that.
Yeah, uh-huh.
Plot twist, it was all her
Well,
fault.
is there any note that my froggy friend left me?
No.
I don't think Tiki
No.
does notes.
Well, I'll wait till it's less early morning and then ask the receptionist where my friends maybe have gone.
Okay.
I'm trying to figure out like what we would do. Like, okay, we know Amber. We heard Amber walked into the tower or whatever. Tower disappears for a while. Tower comes back. Like, we could go there, but like, what would we do? We know we can't get in.
We don't know that.
Don't I thought we knew that like anyone who ever like tried to
That was
get
the
in
rumor. Okay,
was never
you heard from
heard of.
from Smalls. He says that anyone that
Yeah.
goes in that tower, like, they never return the same, and all sorts of crazy
Yeah,
nonsense.
that.
Like, well, maybe it's nonsense, maybe not, but he has all sorts of crazy stories that he was talking about. But you don't know like how much of that's true and how much isn't.
Okay, well, I'll tell Tiki, hey, the tower's back. Should we go there?
I don't
Maybe,
know.
maybe Amber's back now. I guess we would go to the tower. That I don't know what else.
Okay.
What else we would do? Like
Yeah.
realistically.
We walk up to the tower,
Okay.
front door, if it's possible. Is it fenced in or just no?
Yeah, is it gated or?
I don't think it's gated. No, it just has windows that are really high, like that are pretty high up. There's no windows like on the first story. And then there's a door.
Is there like a
closed?
knocker or a doorbell of some kind?
No, there's actually not even a door handle on it. It's just like you can just
I
tell it's a
knock on
door
it?
because you can kind of see, like, yeah, you can try knocking on it at least.
Yeah, I'll knock on it.
Okay. But there's no response.
I'll try knocking again, but this time a little bit more. Like I maybe done like 5 knocks the first time. Now I'll do like
More
10
forcefully.
and
Oh,
more
okay.
forcefully. Yeah.
Like an
To
impatient.
make sure it's a
sounding
big
knock.
tower. Maybe like maybe
Yeah.
someone like didn't hear because it's a big tower.
Well, Amber has a contingency plan if they're completely incompetent at finding me.
Oh, they're
Okay.
incompetent. Or we.
I think they
see.
are, but it's pretty funny.
If I were Amber and I got kidnapped in a tower but escaped, where's the first place I would go? Probably the last place we saw her. Where was the last place we saw her?
The
Was it the
library?
Canary House?
No, it
The
was actually the
library.
Thoracic Spire.
Yeah,
The
we
last
should go
place
to
we
the
saw her.
library and see if she's research. No. Like, how much should I metagame this? Like,
Not at all. Do
Okay,
what
so
your
yeah,
character would do.
Amber, when you ask at the reception desks, they say they haven't seen them come back. They didn't see them come back last night.
Did they at all mention, like, what they were doing? Have they eaten here recently?
No, not since yesterday, very early morning.
Um, Well, I know somebody who might know where they are, maybe, and then I have my really long-winded contingency plan. I'm
Perhaps
gonna
we
head
should
out
go
to
see the scryer lady and see if she can scry Amber's position now that the tower's back.
I'm gonna go to the Tar Heel Promenade.
Okay.
I think we should go to the Street of Little Gods and see if the chick can
Why?
scry Amber.
We already did that. She's in
I
the
know, but
tower.
we couldn't. Well, she was in the tower in another plane, but the tower's back, so now she is somewhere.
Probably
And no
still
one's
in the
answering
tower.
at the tower door. But no one answered. How do we get in? Can Alias break it down?
Oh. Uh.
Or Brugar?
Did they come with you, I wonder?
I don't know.
Oh.
Maybe not. Maybe they stayed back.
Tiki starts climbing
I don't
up
think I
to
could break it
one
down.
of the windows.
Okay.
I'm staying below her to catch her if she were to fall.
Okay, yeah, you're able to climb up one of the windows.
And I just peek in.
Actually, that little dot was
Like a store?
Was the toy store.
Yeah.
Does it look like she can holler? Because if so, she's gonna be like, "Hello!"
It looks like a bedroom kind of.
Oh.
You don't see anyone in it. And basically, if you remember the description that I had for Amber's room, it's like
Yeah.
that. This might not specifically be the same room, but
Right.
it's one like that.
Tiki
I think it looks like
will
it's someone's bedroom or something,
drop down and
or like
shake her
a studio
head.
apartment kind of thing.
Kind of like,
No?
no, bedroom.
Okay.
Not sure if anybody here.
Interesting choice, Amber. You get to the Street of Little Gods, and it's actually kind of like gruesome. Like it actually looks like there was a fight that happened here.
Whoa, what?
Yeah. So, like, there's actually blood on the streets, and there's yeah, it's pretty bad.
Is it fresh?
Relatively fresh. Like it looks like it happened. Like it maybe happened. Not like just recently, but it happened less than a day ago. So it's kind of settled down a little bit, but it's still kind of like yeah. There's a lot less people there right now, and like some of the people that are there are kind of like trying to stay away from that area. There's maybe a few people working on like some sort of cleanup maybe, or some sort of, you can't really tell, maybe they're just investigating or trying to loot. You're not really sure what's going on there exactly, but yeah, it's definitely a mess.
Well, I'm not sure I want to be bothered while I'm looking for this person, so I'm gonna be unseen, and I'll go to a corner and turn myself invisible and start looking for the woman I'm looking for.
Okay.
And Zerdurium and Secret can go back to doing what they were doing.
Yeah, what do you guys do next?
I don't know. I think we should go to the Oracle and see if she can strive to find Amber.
No. Tiki knocks on the door some more.
Okay, we're staying at the tower. Tiki has
Okay.
ideas.
You knock on the door some more, and nothing happens.
She frowns. Honestly, Zerdurium, the player, does not see a single reason why to go back to the Oracle. And so to the player, that just sounds like you using metagame knowledge, and that's not something Tiki's gonna do. So
I want to go back because I know she can scry for Amber.
I mean, I guess, but I mean, we just asked her to scry.
I wanted to go there before Tiki went or before Amber went there. For the record, I didn't make that suggestion because Amber went there. That's what I wanted to do beforehand.
Oh, okay. Well,
I actually had the same line of thought, but I didn't mention it to you. I was like, didn't you scry on me before?
Yeah, we already
I was
scryed
thinking
on you,
that and I almost
but
typed it in.
the thing is like, this isn't like a desperate, dire need. So, in my mind, going back to her isn't. I'm not ready for that. But if you guys talk Tiki into it, then she'll go with you. But that's not her.
Keep trying at the tower. That's where we think she is.
Well, she says no.
Okay,
What
I just don't
about
know
the
what else to do.
library? Or I don't know. She shrugs. Maybe I'll just go back to my room.
Maybe she went to the Canary House. Yeah. Why don't we go to the Canary House?
Okay.
If she was gonna look for us, that's the first place she would go, right?
Yeah. I mean, we were sharing our room, so.
Okay. I mean, we're not getting anywhere with this tower. No one's answering the door.
Yeah.
Okay, so we'll the party head to the Canary House.
Okay. While you're doing that, Amber, what are you doing? Trying to find the Oracle.
Yeah, I'm trying to find the Oracle.
Okay. You don't see her anywhere.
Uh-oh. Does she hear me?
Wait, you said something, or you mean does she notice? Does she like hear you as you're walking around, or?
Yeah.
No. Or if she does, you don't know about it. She doesn't make herself known in any case.
Oh, this is unfortunate. I hope she didn't die.
Mm-hmm.
This is unpleasant. Well...
So you're still invisible right now because that lasts for 6 minutes, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
Where else might they be? If I was looking for... who should I look for? Should probably look for Brogar. Brogar seemed to have made a name for himself down in the bottoms at that tavern. Maybe he's still there.
Okay. By the way, did you leave any message with at the Canary House? I should mention.
Nope.
Okay. So yeah, you guys, Philippe and Tiki, get to the Canary House. When you get there, Sarah's like, "Oh, your friend was looking for you."
Well, what a coincidence. We're looking for her.
Have you had breakfast? I didn't have breakfast.
Why don't we have breakfast and, see if Amber shows up, I guess.
Did Amber
Yeah,
say
she
where
did just
she
leave
went?
again. She didn't tell me, no.
Okay.
Well, let's eat. We'll find her eventually. Worst case, we'll just wait here and she'll come back to her room, I suppose. It's good to know she's out of the tower, though. So and it sounds like she's safe. She didn't seem harmed at all.
No. She looked tired, but otherwise she seemed fine.
Well, thank you.
So Amber goes to the commons.
Yeah.
Okay. And you ask about Brugar, then, you said?
Yeah.
Okay.
Where's he been recently?
You hear, like, oh man, so Brugar and his buddies helped launch this, like, epic raid on the Akai Foundry, and like you kind of hear about it, like, yeah, a bunch of lads got together and they went down to the south end of Biss and drew a whole bunch of the a whole bunch of the Ardok enforcers down there and kind of separated them away from the Foundry, and then yeah, they sent in like a strike force led by Brugar and his friends, and they went and got some sense information about freeing a bunch of slaves that Akai's been buying.
Oh,
I hope he tells the whole
Oh.
entire
seems like
town
they've been
that.
busy.
Yeah, just keep that in mind, that this random guy in the commons knows about it. And it's just
Apparently
telling
we
you
weren't
freely, because
discreet.
that is somewhat important. Yeah.
So, you wouldn't happen to know where I might find this legend, would you?
I think he's over at the academy.
Thank you. I
Oh my
give
god.
him a gold for his a drink
his help.
for him.
Yeah.
But-
His help.
Brugar and Alias are still at the academy, right? It's only
Yeah, they're
me and
still there.
Tiki that left. So, okay.
Yep. I'll say that they were like not up when you guys were yet. They were like still asleep or something, or so you guys noticed a tower and like left, like, oh, we should go check that out now. I don't think that's too out of character for you guys to split up and run around all over the place anyway,
Oh,
because you guys
no.
have been doing
We've
that
been
since
doing
you
that
got to
since
Kaer
we got
Maga.
Oh yeah, no, that's
Yeah.
normal. Yep.
Yeah.
I'm so frustrated by it too because I'm just like, what am I? Tiki needs
And
more
I'll
people.
head over to the academy and meet up with Brugar and Alias.
I'm kind of a little surprised that Amber didn't like ask questions about the street of little gods there. It's like, let's just leave.
Yeah, well, she probably thinks that we had something to do with it and wants to hear it from us. If I were her.
Oh, maybe. You would just, that's how you would assume. You're like, this looks like the work of PCs if I ever saw it.
Yeah.
Sort of. So there were two things. It was A, it was the work of PCs if I ever saw it, or B, it's the work of Declal Sar, like, evil dudes, and I don't want to be seen there by nobody. At
Yeah, I don't
least
think you want to
while
see
I'm
there in
alone.
either case. Yeah. That's a pretty good reasoning, I'd say.
So I
Yeah,
was
you-
like,
you-
I'm out of here until I find my friends who can maybe tell me what happened there.
We stole a safe.
So you maybe get there and you notice that, like, actually I don't remember. I don't know if Amber's ever been to the academy, to the Freeman Academy.
No.
Probably
Was
not.
she there?
No, she
First
kind
time
of
you
got
guys went there,
stuck
I
in
think,
the
was after she
library on day
disappeared.
one. Yeah. Yeah.
When you guys first went there, yeah. So, but you notice that there's like a lot, like there's a lot of security, I guess. There's a lot of people. Like, this is kind of like a barracks with like walls and everything. Like, it's a defensible building, and there's a lot of people like on high alert, and they look at you very suspiciously as you come towards it, and not very welcoming, I guess you could say. Like, they're eyeing you. I don't know if you walk towards them or anything or say anything, but
Or I guess I'll go up to the gate and be like, I'm looking for my friends, Brugar fellow, and I'm one of his companions along with another fellow called Philippe. small frog woman called Tiki, and a big muscular hunky Shawanti man called Alios. But they happen
Okay.
to be here.
They're eyeing you warily. It says, "Wait here a second," and one of them runs off.
It's a spy. Kill it.
And they bring. I'm gonna say they bring Brugar back, and he does recognize you, like when you show up there. So he probably goes out and I don't know. Just
Probably
like,
gives you a
Smiles
big
and
hulking
laughs and
hug,
pat
which
you on
Amber
the
is
back and
really
stuff, yeah.
uncomfortable with.
yeah, or like gives you, you know, like a friendly pat on the back that's way too hard or something like
Welcome
that.
back, lass.
Yeah.
Knew you were
Yeah,
okay.
kind of thing. Like he's entirely too physical about his greeting, probably. It says like, "Where have you been? Oh, you missed quite the adventure," or something. I don't know. Like he says Brugar things that I can't really emulate as well as I'd like.
Well, I've been reading maybe a little too much for my own good, and I could maybe use a bit of a nap. But it's good to see a familiar face, one that I actually remember.
I guess Brugar would know that Philippe and Tiki at least were gonna head to the tower, perhaps.
Maybe. Unless the reason why he didn't go with you was because he was like still asleep or something. He stayed up really late,
Oh yeah.
keeping watch too. So he probably, I'd say he might not even know where you're at right now.
That's fair.
But I'm sure somebody, actually, he'd probably know. If he doesn't know directly, he knows secondhand because, like, maybe when you guys were leaving, one of the one of the freemen asks where you were going, and so maybe you told him like, okay, we're going to the high side stacks. So we think our friend might be in that tower.
Yeah, probably. At
So
least
Brugar maybe
secondhand
has heard it
would.
secondhand, and he says he's like, you run it. He maybe asks Amber, did you run into Philippe and Tiki? They were.
Nope.
I heard they went over to try to find you at the what's that tower showed up again in the sky. Like looks over, it's still there.
Well, they won't find me there.
What are we having for breakfast?
Flies.
Ew.
I don't know, a nice breakfast that they serve at the Canary House.
Every time Tiki goes into like a restaurant, she asks if she can just go into their back and she'll like eat any of the bugs that are. It's kind of like an exterminator kind of agreement, you know?
Okay. And they give Philippe like a really nice breakfast with like I don't know.
Pancakes with butter and maple syrup with.
Yeah.
Do they have
Bacon on
peanut
the
butter?
Oh man.
I don't know. Maybe.
Are you
That's
one
what
of
I
those
want.
people who puts peanut butter and cinnamon on their pancakes?
Not cinnamon. I do peanut butter and jelly.
Hmm.
All right then.
Ew.
Syrup
It's
and
good.
bananas, baby. The best.
It's like
They
peanut
probably
butter
do have
and
like some really
jelly sandwiches.
fancy. If maybe they have like some really fancy like I don't know, cinnamon rolls or something like that with like
Yum.
they probably have some sort of I don't know.
So I knew a guy in college who would make waffles and then spread peanut butter all over it and then put cinnamon on that and then put the syrup on it.
Oh,
I do
man.
okay. I do something similar. Peanut butter on waffles with syrup, but instead of cinnamon, cinnamon applesauce.
Alright then.
Yeah, that's pretty much the same thing.
It's very
They
delicious.
probably have like breakfast made out of from like a boar or something like that. Like, so I don't know. But yeah, it's something like that, like kind of what you would expect for breakfast, I guess, at
Cool.
a place like the Canary House. And I think the breakfast, if I remember right, you don't have to even pay for it because you have a room there, so the
Yeah.
breakfast is like complimentary.
Yeah.
Even
I
though
guess
you didn't stay there last night, you were still paying
I
for
paid
the room.
for it.
So yeah.
Tiki and Philippe will probably talk about like ideas of where Amber could be, but like if we don't have a way to get into the tower, then we might consider finding our friends and seeing if they have a way.
Right, like
or-
meeting up with Brugar and Alias.
Yeah.
Yeah. This breakfast has
Which
been
would-
good, but we should probably get back and check in with them.
The tower
Okay.
might disappear again.
Perhaps Amber went to the academy and met them already.
Okay, so yeah, we'll say you do that. The tower is still there as you guys are heading back, and yeah, when you get there, somebody tells you like, "Oh yeah, your other friend showed up."
Oh, jeez.
Oh.
Yeah, the redhead girl with the glasses.
Well, that's a relief.
Yeah, so we go try and find her.
Okay, and it's probably easy enough because somebody probably knows where she's at.
Yeah.
So you guys are reunited.
Woo!
Hooray!
Amber!
Now
I
let's
missed
split
you
up
so
again.
much.
This time Tiki's gonna go with Alios.
What
'cause
happened?
I
Where
haven't
were
done that
you?
yet.
We heard you went into the tower.
That's
I
true.
went
We've
to a
done like
very
almost
nice
every other group
library.
arrangement, but we haven't. I don't think we've done Tiki and Alios on an adventure yet. Just by themselves, just going off and doing something.
Right.
We've done Philippe and Alias. We've done
We haven't
Um,
done
Felipe
Amber
and
and
Amber.
Brugar, or Amber and pretty much any.
Yeah, I haven't gone with just Brugar, I don't think.
you've done Amber and Philippe because that was pretty much the entire time in the
Library.
Yeah.
in the Thoracic Spire at least.
I suppose you could say we've done Amber and Tiki when we're sharing a bedroom.
No, oh
Yeah,
wait, you
kinda.
guys went off on your own whenever me and Alias went off on our own, right?
No. Amber pretty much
Maybe
was in
Brugar was with
library.
you.
And,
Oh, it's
and
Brugar
never
and
seen again.
Tiki. That's right. And then
Okay.
Amber was off on her own. Split the
I
party.
think we did. I know Amber and Philippe both went to the Temple of Asmodeus in Corvosa. That was pretty funny.
Oh yeah.
Philippe was totally ready to sell his soul or something, but
Oh, God.
Amber was just like,
So
"Let's
many
get outta here."
opportunities that got missed.
Yeah, Amber's just like, we don't want to be here. Let's get going. This is dangerous. This is a bad
What?
place for Philippe to be.
Philippe was buying
This
into
is a
everything.
really bad place for Philippe to be.
Was he being gullible?
Yes.
Yeah, he was. He was getting
I
ready
was
to divulge a
perfect.
lot of information to the Temple of Asmodeus.
What's the worst that could happen?
Do the players know anything about the Street of Little Gods?
I don't know. You ask them?
Yeah, I'm going to ask them about that.
Well, it's the street where we met this
I know why it has its
Oracle
name.
lady. And,
like- The
What's
bloodshed
happened there
that
recently?
happened there.
Oh,
bloodshed.
bloodshed.
There's bloodshed?
Wait,
And
Tiki looks
Yeah.
surprised.
I know this is
There
hard to
must have
believe,
been
but
lots of people
it wasn't
who got killed
us.
there.
We had nothing to do with, well, there was the riots we caused, but we almost certainly had nothing to do with it.
You caused riots?
Just
Is this about freeing those
distraction.
slaves?
It was a distraction riot. Yeah. We broke into Akai's foundry and found out that he is probably keeping the Shwanti slaves in the tunnels under the city. But in order to break in, we had to, distract all the guards. So we kind of had the Freemen start a little tiny riot. I don't think anyone got hurt from that though.
No, he said everybody
Not that we
survived.
heard of, at least.
Well, I don't
I don't
know
think it
how
was
long
us.
ago it was, but
But
it
did they
seemed
have it in
pretty
the
fresh.
area?
But there's been a lot of bloodshed on the Street of Little Gods.
When we went there, I remember you describing at Pluto that there were like lots of merchants that were trying to kind of like heckle you a little bit. Maybe not merchants.
Not really
but...
merchants, but lots of different. Yeah, there were a lot of different people there that were kind of all like, and yeah, there were a lot of them that would kind of like try to like get your attention to come over and listen to them talk about their god, and like, there were people that were sitting there like just chanting or whatnot, or you know talking to whoever will listen, even if nobody's listening. Like they just sit there and keep talking about whatever, telling their story. But yeah, there's a lot of people there before. When Amber went there, was a lot less people though recently.
So
Much less than she remembered, because she went there with you guys the first time. She's been there before too. You guys have been there one extra time. Well, actually, you guys have been there the same amount of times now. You guys have both been there, all been
Yeah.
there twice now. But yeah, it was much less crowded when she went there, and much quieter for that matter too. Much more somber atmosphere.
so
Well,
Tiki
yeah.
will ask, you mean all those people gone?
Uh, yeah, not all of them, but a lot of them.
Did I do something wrong? We were just there.
I don't know, I haven't been here. I've literally not been in this city.
Tiki like looks in the direction of the tower, whether or not she can see it. You haven't been in the city?
Yes, I went to a very nice library elsewhere.
Oh. She just nods like, whatever, library. Should we go check it out?
I suppose so.
The tower?
No.
No, I don't believe
The
you need
death?
to do that. The Street of Little Gods?
Yeah.
Perhaps.
Yes, that one.
I mean, if this happened, like, cause we just did the raid, and we don't know exactly when this happened, but Amber's saying it might be kind of fresh, and I'd hate to think this is some sort of consequence of what we did, but if it is, we should at least know about it and try to remedy it. Yes. Let's go.
I'm going to
Okay.
go grab a bite to eat. I'll be back in 5 minutes.
I say, is this something where we want to keep going without the rest of the party?
We can probably do you guys going to the Street of Little Gods and investigating that a little bit. I'm okay with that. I think that'll be fine. But that's probably
Okay.
about all we'll do for this session.
Sure, whatever.
I'm thinking next session,
That sounds good.
like continuing on with meeting the desk wardens and all that stuff. That'll wait for next week or 2 weeks from now,
Yep.
whenever we play again.
And I say, yeah, we'll have to figure out if we're going, next week or the week after.
Okay.
Yeah, it was kind of interesting because I was thinking of having you guys hear about this secondhand, so it's interesting to me that you guys just like, we're just gonna go shoot a little gun. It's like, oh, okay, well, there's a thing that happens that happened there
Oh,
just
that's
recently.
funny.
You guys are gonna get to see it firsthand instead.
Okay, well, yeah, we'll go there. I'm not sure if we have to wait for Mantis to come back, but I'll roll a perception to look around. Not very good
Ooh,
at that.
my first roll of the session. Yeah. Hey, I good at looking at things.
This is the reception on the way there or something, or when you get there.
I certainly would be looking around on the way there too.
Yeah.
If you want me to roll a second one for once we get there, I'll do that.
Yeah, that's fine. You can just use that one.
It's gonna be ridiculously high either way.
Was that diplomacy roll Amber did? Was that when she was that for the getting to the Freeman Academy?
I guess.
Okay.
Yeah.
I was gonna say
probably.
as well, like you could potentially. I wasn't sure if it was that or if it was like a gather information thing or something for when you guys get to the street. But I was like, I don't think.
No, I don't
think
think
that's
she's
for
asking
that.
about that.
Yeah. Yeah, I'll wait till Mantis gets back for this one. Since it'll only be a few minutes and not 3 weeks. Thank you guys for sticking around for Mantis Goes to School.
I didn't.
Yeah, sure.
I cooked.
Oh,
Oh,
okay.
I was
Well, thank
listening
you.
to most things.
Yeah. Like I said, if everyone had been here, I probably would have glossed it over a lot more, and then like maybe done like a more detailed bit of it, like continuing on in the on the Roll20 like text thing we were doing, that Mantis and I were doing. So I had like more of it happen off camera. I just would have, even if we weren't at that point yet, I would have just been like, here's a quick summary of what ends up happening in the end. So here you are. But yeah. I think it was kind of funny the way you guys were kind of like going circles around looking for each other. It's
Oh
like
my
the
god.
when both people are looking for each other thing.
Yeah, I didn't
What's
still
that
have a
called?
reason to go back to that oracle, so it's like it didn't make sense to me.
I'm surprised. Yeah, I'm surprised you guys didn't conclude to go to the Canary House like quicker, honestly, because that's would have been like. Although then again, on the other hand, if you're under the assumption you don't know if Amber's actually out of the tower, that makes things a lot more difficult as well. So
Yeah.
Yeah, we didn't know she left. And no one answered the door, so that was no help.
yeah, well, you have to understand. Lots of people try knocking on the door.
Oh
so
yeah,
at
yeah,
this point,
sure.
At this point, he's just like, whatever. It's probably no one I want to talk to. Most people he deals with that he wants to have enter the tower can just enter the tower.
Right.
I mean, I don't know if you guys have noticed the thing when Amber went there. He was like telling Amber's like, yeah, you can if you just put your hand on the door, it just opens for you. So if Amber was there, she just touches the door and it opens.
Maybe I should have tried that.
I wonder if it registers
He knocked on the door.
gripply hands.
If you'd been Amber, knocking on the door would have just opened it as well because he would have touched it.
Okay.
Amber special.
It's like a. That's why there's no handle. It's just keyed to automatically open to like, if you're the right person.
The VIP.
If you're supposed to be there.
Yeah.
Yeah, if you're supposed to be there, it'll open. But yeah, Delphos kind of a high-level wizard, so he gets to have a cool tower.
Dang.
Of course,
When
every
I'm
wizard needs.
king, I'm gonna have a cool tower too.
When you're king, so you want to be the king, huh?
You just can't wait to be king.
Oh, I just can't wait. Yeah. Oh my god, so good. I need a throne and made of dragon bones.
Be the evil king, or are you just gonna have like be a good king that just has evil aesthetics? That'd be kind of funny.
I mean, dragon bones aren't necessarily evil. I could have killed evil dragons that were gonna kill
That's
innocent
true.
people.
You could just be going more for like the warrior Viking king or something like that. Like, I slay these dragons myself. That's why I'm king.
Yep.
Excellent time to go get a sandwich, Mantis.
This is where our wireless headset helps a lot because you can at least still participate while doing things.
Yeah. I'm not really complaining, but I just realized that the Overwatch characters, there's really not a whole lot of red. Tons of purple, tons of pink, tons of blue, lots of yellow. Not
What?
much red.
You mean like in their base skins?
Yeah, I've been staring at the Overwatch menu screen for like ever now, waiting for Mantis.
I mean, there's Torb and McCree.
Yeah, but he's it. That's it. And then there's like
And
Zenyatta's
soldier's
thing.
gloves.
Ooh, whoop-de-doo, but there's like hardly any red.
There's not entire uniforms of red except for Torb.
It's just like 1, 2, 3 champions that are
Widowmaker's
pink.
eyes.
Widowmaker's eyes. What about them?
Or her little things on her helmet are red.
Oh yeah. What are those
I'm back.
anyways?
Okay, welcome back. So yeah, you guys are heading to the Streets of Little Gods. So you get back there. It's still pretty much how you left it.
What are people doing? Like, do we see any people? And
We have Rugar and Alios with us, right?
How are they reacting?
Did you ask them to come with you? I guess they can be with
No.
you.
I would not have left without them.
I
Okay.
don't see why. I mean, I guess.
Yeah, we would have brought them with us. To investigate a mass, like, murder, killing, blood fight thing, we would have brought our warrior fighters with us. Certainly.
No, that makes sense. That's fair enough. Yeah, so you get there. There's like I said, there's not a whole lot of people there. There are still like a few different people like kind of still trying to do their normal thing, but a lot less of them. Like there's still people there, you know, tending to the little mini altars that are along the array. Some of them are kind of like repairing ones that look like they've kind of been damaged. And you can see them like kind of doing repairs on them. Yeah, there's definitely spots where there's like blood stains.
Let's ask somebody what happened. One of the people repairing their like shop stuff or whatever. Somebody
Do
who
like
looks like
a
they belong
diplomacy
here,
gather information
I
check.
guess. Or
Whoever wants to do that.
just debate. Oh yeah, no, I'm not helping at all.
I'm rolling, don't worry.
I'm asking all the wrong
Uh,
questions.
25.
Tiki's like, why did you do this?
Yeah.
Like, what?
Like people are like freaked out about it. Like, what is this frog talking about?
What have you done?
You're really weird looking. You know that? So Philippe, you gather. So somebody kind of tells you, like one of the people that was like, yeah, it was pretty terrible. It was a group led by a gnoll, and I believe it was 2 humans wearing some sort of hyena masks, and
Do I know what a gnoll and a hyena is? Probably.
yeah, you probably know gnolls look like hyenas. But yeah, these 2 people wearing hyena masks basically, and they came in and they just started attacking over down there. And a bunch of other people ran in to try to stop them. I mean, even though everyone on this street is most of us all worship different faiths, there's still a bit of camaraderie here. Like, we look out for each other, right? But they were very, very strong. There was, like I said, there was 3 of them, and they yeah, we ended up driving them off. But I think they killed a couple people before that happened.
That's really awful. Does anyone know
Who'd they kill?
more about these people?
The ones that attacked?
Yeah.
No.
I know some towel
Nice, no.
boys who might have a little bit of information.
Were they
Maybe.
I
carrying
don't actually
this?
say that.
Amber
You show 'em.
produces her unholy symbol of Declaus.
Mm, maybe. It looks sort of similar to the one that the Knoll had.
But they didn't say why they were pillaging?
They didn't say a word, they just attacked. Killed a couple people and then ran off before we could overrun them.
Maybe a distraction?
Very, very fast.
Amber then puts her unholy symbol away again because she doesn't want to be seen with it.
But yeah, it was very strange. I mean, there's once in a while there's some sort of violence that happens here, but usually it's nothing worse than like a simple street brawl. Usually maybe people get a little hurt, but nothing like this.
Strange.
I don't know. Somebody said like, I don't think anyone said anything to offend them or anything. I didn't see them. It wasn't like I saw them coming in here and talking to anyone or anything like that. They appeared almost as suddenly as they left.
They must have killed whoever they were looking for.
Oh.
I think some Ferozman clerics already got here and took the bodies away. Which is probably just as well if they hadn't, some necromancers from Ankarte would have came here and plundered the bodies themselves.
Oh gosh, I probably walk past their souls.
No.
It's a
Huh.
grim thought. And
So the
Amber
guy's
says
talking
that
to
a
you, by
lot.
the way, is he's like a half-elf guy.
Okay.
So just giving you some context to who this guy is. Yeah, he's a half-elf guy with like kind of a he's got kind of like a his has like a holy symbol like visible. You can see it's a symbol. It's a full moon with a crescent-shaped haze over the top of it.
Do I recognize this symbol?
Let's see, it's fairly obscure, but I think 19 you would recognize that you maybe wouldn't know a whole lot about uh, this goddess, but it's an elven goddess named Sahanine.
I feel like I heard about this in Second Darkness.
Possibly.
Nope, different goddess.
Oh, okay. I wouldn't be surprised if she does show up in Second Darkness, actually, with looking at like what she's about, but yeah.
Hmm.
In any case, yeah, that's not maybe not super relevant, but you know.
No.
Just giving you frame of reference that you actually are talking to an actual person who's giving you this information.
Tiki,
What?
you still have the holy symbol of Karkana?
Yep.
Can you show it to this man?
Oh. Okay. She pulls it out and shows it to him.
There's a woman I was looking for earlier who had this symbol, who is not my friend here. Have you seen her since, this massacre?
I think I know who you're talking about, but I'm afraid not. I haven't seen her.
Sorry, sneezing.
I'm not sure if she was here when the attack happened or not. She's definitely not here now. Haven't seen her all day.
I pray that she was not here.
As do I. If I see her, I'll let you know that, or let her know that you were looking for her.
If you do see her, tell us we're thankful that she wasn't caught in this.
He nods.
I'll pull my friends over and tell them my suspicions.
Okay.
Which is that them assholes of Declausar have come and trashed the place and killed the Oracle of Carcanis.
Wait, she's dead?
Oh no.
Maybe, we don't know that yet, but that is my hypothesis.
Like this wash of like sudden worry and panic kind of like, I don't know, goes over Tiki, and she's like, that means I'm the legacy now?
Yep.
Yep. I have some good news though. There might be an artifact of legend which can help us kill gods somewhere. We just have to find it and complete it.
Oh.
What? What are you talking about? You're just now mentioning this?
Well, yeah.
And that's what Carcanos wants, right?
Well, that's what Pharasma wants, and I suppose Carcanis as well.
So, how do we get to this artifact?
I don't know.
Oh.
But if it exists in legends, it may exist in reality. All we need to do is find it. And or make it reality.
Sounds
Apparently
easy
I've
enough.
done such in the past.
Yeah,
I'm
like
sure I
Tiki's
can do such in
wide-eyed.
the future.
She's like, Amber's just
I'm
talking gibberish to her right now. She's like, what?
I'm not too sure. Like, usually I follow along with what you're talking about, but now you're just like talking crazy stuff.
Crazy
Oh, yeah,
optimistic dreamer.
you guys give the 900 gold that you guys had separated out as Amber's share from
Oh,
what you guys got
shit.
earlier.
You're supposed to forget about that. Yeah, you get 912 gold, Amber.
Of course, that's
Oh, cool.
on the other hand, Amber found 1,000 gold of her own.
Oh.
Yeah, but we don't know about that.
I
Yeah,
guess
you don't
we
know about that.
Hmm.
So, yeah. Up to you guys. I'm not too concerned about it.
I mean, if Amber wants to share, she'll
Should I
share,
add it
otherwise
to
she
my
won't.
journal?
Add what?
The 900 gold?
We give you the 912. It's whether or not you're sharing your 1,000
yeah.
you got.
Yeah. I don't think you necessarily have to if you don't want, but...
It's more than likely that I'll use it for the party's benefit, but hey, it's
Because, I mean, technically...
my stash.
it's kind of in a gray area, because it technically is Amber's gold. But, like, it already was Amber's gold, but yeah.
Yeah, you can do what
It's
you
also
want. I don't really
previous
care.
Amber.
Tiki's
So it's kind
not
of
one
in
of
a
those
weird
characters
gray
that
area.
needs money. And Aelios just
Yeah.
spends
I
it
need
on
money.
freeing slaves, so... Not saying that's a bad thing, but... Uh...
Yeah. You guys are possibly going to get a decent amount of... I'm hoping to, if it plays out how I expect it to, you guys probably will get closer to wealth by level soon, but we'll see.
Cool.
Because you guys are actually pretty poor for what level you are, I think.
I'm not. I have an artifact tower.
Fair enough.
Alright, you can hold on to your gold and use it for the party. Use your judgment. because we're not going to make good judgment calls.
I'll make you things.
I need a +1 rapier.
I can't make that yet. I can make you other things. I can make you wondrous items, okay?
Okay, I could use more intelligence. All
That
the
is something
intelligence.
That's something that Amber could probably do.
That's something I can do.
Like a headband of intellect or something.
Yeah.
Sure. Yep.
Okay.
Was
I
it
prefer
you
an
guys
armband,
who
though, but-
ran into things that had like DR and you were unable to fight them or something?
Yes, the freaking things where we had to have adamantine to get through it, but we ended up beating them. The like weird brass things.
Oh yeah, you guys fought the construct. Mantis was I don't think he was actually like Amber wasn't here, but was Mantis here when that was happening? I think he was.
Yeah,
I think he was
was leveling
briefly
Amber
here,
up, and I was like,
Yeah. Yeah, they had to fight some things
they're
that they couldn't
fighting
get through the DR.
constructs.
They were fighting a construct with a really high DR that, well, not super high, but it had pretty high DR that they were having difficult. They
Probably
didn't
like
have anything to get
DR10,
through it.
which Philippe can't possibly beat.
Yeah, Philippe couldn't do anything to it, but
What?
Alias,
I did plenty.
you did like a little bit of damage to it.
Yeah, I hit once.
It was mostly
Where it went through.
it was mostly Brugar and Alias beating on
Didn't I
it.
pass a critical to one of them with butterfly sting?
I think you did. You passed a critical to someone, I believe.
So there. Okay.
Yeah, I mean you weren't completely useless. You just didn't do damage to it.
And I was the
That's all I'm
tank.
saying. Yes, because you were the one that walked right up to it and like aggroed it basically. Because it actually,
Yeah.
since it was
Didn't you,
a
like,
brainless
go up to it and
construct.
ask it a question or something stupid?
He tried to give it gold or something. Like he wanted to bribe it.
I mean, I didn't know what it
But-
was.
It didn't. It has having none of that. It basically attacked the first intruder that wasn't supposed to be there.
But it wasn't very effective. Yeah.
Well, yeah, I kept getting knocked over, and
I meant
Yeah.
my giving it gold wasn't very effective.
oh
like
yeah,
the
that was
Pokemon
not
line.
very effective. No,
But it's okay. We got away safely.
that does remind me. There was in another game I ran. It was another homebrew I GM'd where they found like some treasure that was being guarded by like a really nasty golem, and so of course somebody picks up some of the treasure and then it starts chasing him and trying to kill him. And they ended up just
Yep.
like throwing the treasure down a river, and like it basically was like programmed to get the treasure back and like put it back. So it just it like ran into the river trying to get the treasure that got thrown into the river, and just like
That's
got
funny.
pulled away by the river because it was yeah. So that's like how they beat. That's how like they beat that golem.
It would have been really
But they didn't
funny
get the
if they
treasure,
attached
though.
it to a fishing rod first.
Well, I think they got other parts of the treasure. Like they just lost part of the treasure for doing that.
Okay.
But it also was one of those things. Theoretically, that thing could show up again, trying to get the rest of its treasure back, maybe. But I don't think it ever did. It was kind of one of those things too. Where it's like, well, how would he even know where the heck you are? It doesn't actually know.
There are constructs that do.
There are, yeah. I don't remember. I don't remember what type of construct it was anymore for this one, but it was definitely like a really tough construct for them to fight. I think this was like a level. I think they were a higher level than this party, but not by much. Anyway, I think we'll probably continue this next time. Hopefully with everyone here. Or at least almost
Hopefully.
everyone here. So,
Okay.
are we doing this one, or are
That-
we doing Mantis's next week, by the way? That's
I don't
something
know.
needs to get... Because I was originally planning to just keep running on the normal schedule, and I just figured Mantis wasn't going to be ready to run his session this week, so I was just going to do 2 weeks in a row was the plan. But Mantis has his session scheduled for next Thursday, so I want to check like how we doing that. Because I'm cool with it either way. If you really want to run your session next week, we can just change which weeks are alternating, and I'm fine with that.
I mean, yeah, I was. That's what I was thinking. I thought that since you had done a short session last week and you were going to do like a full session this week, if everybody had been here, that's what
Right.
was going to be the case, and that's why I was like, over the past couple of days, I've been putting all of my maps together and putting all of my sheets together,
Right.
and I'm pretty much ready to run.
Okay.
So Mantis next
Like,
week.
if I needed to, I could run tomorrow.
Okay.
We'll just do both at the same time.
No.
That sounds like that's such a nightmare, especially
I'm
for me and Mantis.
joking. Yeah, obviously, I hope, obviously joking. That would be interesting.